The theme for this year's Africa Children's Summit is Seen, Heard and Engaged in Education. South Africa's Minister for Social Development, Nokuzola Tolashe, opened the summit.
The Child-Led Summit, which aims to amplify the voices of children in policy-making and decision-making processes across the continent, is also aligned to an AU Agenda 2040 and the recent Bogota 2024 global commitment to ending violence against children. Following on the inaugural summit held in Nairobi, Kenya in 2023, the second biennial Africa Child Summit in South Africa is indeed a landmark gathering aimed at championing child participation and shaping the future trajectory of the African continent with inputs from her children. This child-led summit emphasizing the importance of children's agency under the saying, "Nothing about us without us." Can you say that? Nothing about us without us.
There were more speeches before the break and panel discussions, but the child president of the Nelson Mandela Children's Parliament, Dihang Murudu, had a message for the elders of the continent.
We are not just voices to be heard. We are the minds to be respected. And also, I challenge this government and all African government to ask yourself this question. How many policies have you passed with children at the table? How many budgets reflect the needs that children have voiced? How many schools still have pit toilets in 2025? How many children are still living in fear of violence and exploitation as well as hunger? We are tired of always being given promises. We want action. We are tired of just participation. We want real power. In many parts of our continent, children have been used, abused, and forgotten. But from the ashes of their pain, do you know what they did? They rose. And from their courage, we now rise. You hear what I'm saying, my leaders? To those children, we honor you. We are your legacy. And we will not let your struggle to be buried under political ceremonies and empty promises.
The breakaway sessions and panel discussions focused on issues like the future of children's voices across Africa. 300 children from South Africa, South Sudan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Kenya, Lesotho, Ghana, Liberia, Mozambique, Uganda, Zambia and Zimbabwe attended in person, while about 1,000, among them Nigerians, joined virtually. We spoke to some of those attending physically on what difference a gathering like this could make.
Well, this summit is very important because it enables children like us to speak, because it can't be about us without us. So I think that this summit is very important. Yeah, it to be able to help children to speak about education and yeah.
Okay, leaving this summit, what would you like to see in Ghana or other African countries?
Well, I would like to see improvement because we didn't come together here for nothing. Because we want children to speak about education and child rights. So then I want there to be like, let's say, like we improve more schools, better education, more gadgets, those type of things to help us improve.
You know, the African Union, in as much as it is, right, we have figured out that it consists of countries within this continent that sit together. Presidents from various countries sit together and discuss matters. They must realize that we should not suffer like this to have children who are not represented here in the summit. I have said news that I've received yesterday when I was speaking to one of the delegates, saying that they even transported themselves to be part of the summit. It is not fair. The African Union should make sure that whenever we are having African continent-related situation or events, they must come and allocate the resources to the children so that children can actually participate. In as much as them being playing that role. They are supposed to be here also as the collective to hear what children are saying. Yes, they're discussing situations that are going as leaders in their respective countries, but it's important to also hear from the children so that you support the children in terms of the issues that they are crying about in this continent of Africa.
My vision for this summit is clear. I want this summit to be something meaningful, something impactful, not just the speeches and whatnot, but a summit that brings about implementation. It must be a summit which the children of the continent will rely on to say, when we go to this particular summit, we will get our voices seen, heard, we will be seen, heard, and engaged. And I think that is something very, very important, because many other times when children are brought to such spaces and told to speak of what they want, but let alone their voices are not heard by the fact that they will only be put on paper and whatever they've said will not be implemented.
Finally, you're standing before the African Union, their next summit. What would you say to them?
For the African Union, I would like them to make a platform where children can be put in, because you cannot do anything for a child without a child. Do not put yourselves in children's shoes, because they will not fit. The children's shoes are too small. It is very, very important that they allocate time for children to come and listen to children, to come and listen to some of the different issues that they are facing, because these issues are unique, and the problems that they are facing can only be solved by them, because they are the ones experiencing them.
Firstly, I'd like to say that we are living in a society where they like saying the youth of South Africa is lost. But I'm living proof that we are not. We are just waiting to be heard. We get promises and promises and promises, but I am sitting with the weight of unfinished promises. And what I'm asking for is, we're not asking for sympathy. We're asking that you guys take a stand and listen to us as the youth, because we want to be heard. We're living in communities where it's not safe at all. I mean, it's not even safe for kids to be at school anymore, as we see with the Justice for Quick case. And I'd just like to say, I'd like the government to actually collaborate with more NGOs and communities. Take time, sit down, hear them out, and find out how you can actually be active in the communities and how you can protect the future leaders of tomorrow.
Taking it beyond South Africa, because you have children from about 6 or 7 other countries.
If we have to talk about Africa as well, we're also facing cases of child rape, child marriage, and that is something I feel like it should be illegal in most countries. I mean, it can be tradition, but a child does not know what consent is under the age of 13. So I feel like if we can actually protect our kids and find a way to protect our kids, we can actually build hope in our communities that there is more outside to life than actually just sitting down and thinking that this is the end of the road for you.
Speaking from a government perspective, South Africa's Minister for Social Development, Nokuzola Tolashe, says more is being done to not just listen to the children, but to implement promises made to improve their lives.
We know with the economy that is sometimes shrinking, we might not be able to do everything at the same time. But because of such platforms, we had to do it faster now, because they are saying it themselves. And they are the future, as they are the present. So presidents of different countries have no other choice except to listen to the children and do exactly as they are requesting. Yes, they might be requesting in other countries. In our country, that right is enshrined in the Constitution of the Republic, especially in the Bill of Rights of this country. Therefore, we are working with them. The Nelson Mandela Children's Fund has made sure that it works across the borders of South Africa. And in that way, we have already seen this coordination that is quite coherent. And we are very sure that it will bear some fruit, wherein the continent as a whole will embark on this journey to make sure that children are liberated in the true sense of the word. All they want and they are yearning for is to be allowed to be children. That's all they want, nothing more, nothing less. They said in democracy, they should be allowed to be children. in the war zones, they can't be children because they are made to be victims sometimes, and they are the most vulnerable.
The 3-day event has been put together by the South African government in collaboration with the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund. The Chief Executive Officer of the fund, Dr. Linda Nkomo, says the plan is for the outcome document not to end with the summit.
So the outcome of this Children's Summit is that we're going to take the outcome statements to the Africa Union. The committee, the African Committee of Experts on Child Welfare and Rights, is going to be meeting in Maseru. I think they actually start their meeting on Monday. And so we requested for a slot on the agenda to go and present the outcomes to that on that platform. And the hope is that that platform can then disseminate and hold member countries accountable for the realization of what the children will ask for in the form of the outcome statement. But definitely, we don't give children's rights and their well-being enough airtime on these platforms. And what tends to happen is that it's the adults who sit together in a room and talk about the experiences of children instead of bringing in the voices of the children themselves so that we can hear what they are saying. We can listen to their input and take that input to drive policy.
Do you think a summit like this can effect a bit of change?
I think it's a great starting point. I think it's the second time that children from the continent have come together. So it's still baby steps, it's still early days, but what's important is for us not to lose the momentum. What's important is for the children to keep holding their countries accountable to reporting back to them on how far they are in realizing what the outcome statement will have.